And I know it. If you're gonna have a battle theme that runs across the vast majority of your encounters, it absolutely needs to be a banger. So what better way to satiate our collective boredom than by counting down my top 10 favorite normal encounter battle tracks from turn-based RPGs. The musical, on ice, but not really. The rules are pretty simple here. We're talking turn-based or active time battle systems. None of this, more of this. And while you may see some variations here and there, I'll be focusing on the original battle theme that plays pretty much every time you run into opposition. And just to get it out of the way, this is obviously my list. And if you haven't guessed by now, I haven't played every RPG known to man. Frankly, I had a difficult enough time finding entries on this list that I could genuinely latch onto, so if you do have any recommendations, throw them in the comments section below. With all of that out of the way, let's get to it. Paper Mario and the Thousand-Year Door has absolutely no right being as jaw-droppingly perfect as it is. And the same can be said of its music. For some reason, a few of the tracks start off with a completely different vibe than where they end up. It's like watching Midsummer in music form. The battle theme is no exception, starting off with a bright and cheery dance track incredibly befitting of this two-dimensional plumber and his paper-made compatriots before turning into the musical equivalent of a panic attack. Before it ends up looping back to the happy. It's a fitting tune to be sure, matching the tone and atmosphere of TTYD almost perfectly. Now if the audience could stop throwing shit at me, I'd really appreciate that. Yeah. This is what we in the biz like to call a nostalgia pick, to be sure. But can you really blame me when you're getting one of the most iconic music tracks in the medium heading up nearly every encounter? Now we're gonna ignore the fact that these bleeps and bloops are going absolutely bonkers for just a second and focus on the tone, which I think, out of almost every other entry you're gonna see on this list, is most prominently nailed through this specific track. It goes from being standoffish in the beginning to a proper fight theme as it goes along. And when you're facing this thing, you're gonna need some epic fight music. Real talk, I was gonna put Pokemon Colosseum's battle track on here. Unfortunately, this specific track isn't the primary encounter theme, so you win this time, Game Boy. Speaking of handheld RPGs, Bravely Default, a game that I bravely ignored because I'm stupid. Yeah, I've actually never played this game, so I can't exactly comment on the link between music and atmosphere here, but what I can say is that this battle track is really good. And for those anime fans out there with an ear for the familiar, you might notice similarities between this track and another popular tune from around the same year. With a brass section leading the way and an electric guitar backing a fantastic orchestral sound, the tune here may be a bit repetitive, but it more than makes up for it in pure style. Now I'm back in familiar territory. For the uninitiated, Dragon Quest VIII Journey of the Cursed King is an absolute masterpiece, and you should be ashamed for not having played it. Go sit in the corner and put on this silly hat. So here's a little fun fact. Pretty much every track here is performed by an orchestra. And here's an even more fun fact. Every single one of them is godlike. That includes the battle theme, aptly named Warcry. I mean, there's not really much to say about this one. This is just This is pretty much perfect. My only knock against it is that Dairy Queen 8 is pretty grindy, so you're gonna be hearing this theme a lot. But that's not nearly enough to knock it out of my top 10. Mario and Luigi, Enter the Dream Time. While I've dabbled in this series from time to time, Dream Team never landed in my lap. Luckily, its battle theme did. There are some variations to this tune depending on where you're fighting, but this version in particular has some fun instrumentation and a wildly energetic vibe. I don't know, there's just something about this one. You can listen to each instrument individually all the way through and experience a completely different sound. And I know you can say that about, like, every entry on this list, but shut up. Shut up, I like this one. Number 5! This is the one. This is the battle theme that actually inspired this list. Octopath's battle theme is ridiculously impressive. A driving beat complemented by string-heavy instrumentation lends an epic feel to pretty much every encounter, a sensation amplified by this section in particular. Unfortunately, what you just heard takes place over a minute into the piece, and with Octopath's encounter rate and how quickly you'll fell each beast in any given battle, you're gonna be hearing that intro a lot. It's still a really good theme, but much like a later entry on this list, it's sometimes a bit of a tease. You knew Final Fantasy was gonna make its way onto this list, but which one? Perhaps 7's legendary fight anthem. The fan favorite Final Fantasy 9? Or 10's remastered track? Officially, I couldn't tell you. I feel like my preference sort of changes with the tide, as my current favorite would probably be Final Fantasy VIII's theme titled Don't Be Afraid. Not really sure why though. I don't even really like this game all that much, but this track warrants some love. Written in 5/4 time, there's an acute sense of urgency and potential triumph infused into its DNA. But again, I've reserved the spot on the list for this, well, all of these. So, I cheated. Don't tell my parents, I swear to God.
Show me your true form!
Have you ever had a tune stuck in your head to the point where you're just absent-mindedly humming it as you're sitting in the dentist's office awaiting your third colonoscopy? That's been me for the past 4 years with this song. I assume some of you thought I might go with Persona 4's Reach Out to the Truth. Yeah, that's good stuff. But this drop right here.
You never see it come back. You say that my mind is too fast for right.
This is the stuff legends are made of. The rest of this tune fits in perfectly with Persona 5's vibe. There's just nothing else quite like it. You want to have a really good time? Go look up actual jazz and R&B artists reacting to this song. Now that said, it does suffer from the Octopath Traveler problem of having a bit of a late payoff. but honestly, I don't mind it as much here. Primarily because the initial unison melody kicks things off at a nice pace before easing us into a nice funky atmosphere that would make Jet Set Radio Future so very proud. When I first heard Deltarune Chapter 1's fight track, I assumed it was a boss battle theme for the game's primary antagonist. I've never been happier to be wrong. I don't think I've ever actively sought out a fight in an RPG just to hear the battle theme, but goddamn if that's not what happened. I've talked a bit about how well a tune can fit into the atmosphere and style of a game's presentation, and Toby Fox completely nails this track's tone. Heroic, frantic, yet rhythmically sound, and yeah, damn fun to listen to. This track was originally set as number 1 on my list, but I couldn't deny this next entry the top spot, no matter how hard I tried. I just found out that not enough people have even heard of this franchise, and if you're looking for the revolution, it starts here. Not only are these soundtracks to each entry nearly flawless, but Battlefield Storm is, in my mind, a blueprint for how to make a perfect battle theme. This track alone is worth the price of admission. The use of trumpets and electric guitar to guide the melody, a fast pace that perfectly encapsulates the feeling of an epic struggle. And to top it all off, after repeating the tune for a second time, 2 minutes and 40 seconds in, the composer just throws in this epic guitar solo. Because f*** it, right? For me, this is the pinnacle, a perfect example of a battle theme done right.